Coaches, what's going on? Thomas here from MyCoach AI, and I wanted to spend a couple minutes today in this video explaining to you what happens exactly when you go and send a new invite to a client. So this button right here, right? You get someone new onto the system. What does the client experience look like? What are the steps they're going to go through? What control do you have over that? And keep in mind, of course, that you can also just test it out yourself. And I actually really recommend that you do. This video is going to be great for some context, but at any point, you are very welcome to invite yourself as a client to your own coaching system. You do that through that same button. You can use the same phone number and email that's attached to your coach's account. That's no problem at all. You can make yourself a little bit of a client account. So that way you can also see exactly what the clients receive when you do send out that invite, the options that you have, the exact client experience. So I do recommend it, but super quick. Here's what happens when you do send that out. This button right here, the invite client button, right? That is what we're going to be using to get any new client onto the system. And there's really in essence, only one thing that you need in order to send out that invite, which is a client phone number. Now, notice, of course, that there is a field for a phone number and also for email. And we really highly recommend that you do add in that email. Both will be valid for your client to log in with. They can receive a code to then log in with through both the email and phone number. But if you only add an email, if they're ever, not able to get to their phone number or their phone number changes, it's much easier to lose access to their account, rather than, of course, having an email attached as well, right? Very high chance your client is not going to be losing access to both at the same time, so they'll always have a way to log back in. Please do add that email. Now, the phone numbers, make sure you choose the country code correctly. Your phone number here in this field should never start with a 0, so if it seems in the formatting that way, leave it out. And that should ensure that your client invite is going to be sending correctly. What happens is that both through that phone number and optionally the email, but assuming that you have added it, is that they're going to receive a notification on text as well as email with the fact that you have invited them to MyCoach AI, and they can now go ahead and log in. It will contain a link for them to click directly. So if they receive it on their phone, they click on the link, they can directly log in. Or, of course, if they're iPhone users, they can just download the iOS app. The thing is, and this is the cool thing, once the invite is sent, the notification that they get with that link is not the only way for them to get in. Keep in mind that if they just have the app downloaded on their phone, as long as the invite has been sent, they can just log in directly onto the app. Okay? Even if they are an Android user and don't use the iOS app, as long as the invite has been properly sent, they can go to mycoachai.com/login and still log in on their phone, on the web browser. Absolutely no problem. So keep that in mind. The initial notification that gets sent to them is a nice reminder and prompts them to go and start their account, but it's not even necessary to log in, right? That initial message. As long as the invite is sent, you're good. You can also add any client tags, of course. Feel free to do that. Definitely helpful down the road if you're going to be onboarding a lot of different people. Separate them by, the program that they're on or what type of client they are. And then, of course, the biggest thing that we have not yet discussed is the onboarding form. This is one of the biggest things that you do with sending out the client invite. And this is, of course, the process that you have set up right here in your library section. You have the forms section. And this is your place to create any workflows that need to happen before the client even gets on board. So we have other videos on this, but just very briefly, it is, going to allow you to receive payments directly on here. Have questionnaires filled out by clients, right, in their onboarding, have them set up their account detail, and a lot of other things. Again, we have videos on this explaining a lot more because there's more to it, but this is the type of workflows that you can set up of anything that needs to happen before the client gets access to their dashboard. And once you've created them here in the forms section, you can then add them within the client invite here under this drop down by selecting from it. Right? What that does is guarantees it's attached to the client invite, meaning when they first log in and create their account, they have to go through all of those steps of your flow, completely mandatory. So your onboarding gets completed, payments been made, questions have been answered, and only then do they gain full access to their dashboard or their iOS app once they've completed all of those steps. Right? So make sure you attach that. Pretty much in most cases, unless you're maybe onboarding an existing client, but definitely the onboarding form, one of the major things that we do right here. Last but not least is the first interface message. Okay, so this is just a message that will show internally within MyCoach AI. So it's not like a text message or email. This is going to be the first message that auto sends within their message box within MyCoach AI, so that when they complete onboarding, they see a missed message, and that will be the first one from you, and you can just set it up in here. Okay, so a nice little addition as well to welcome them to your interface. That's pretty much all you need to know about the client invite, right? Attaching the onboarding form is one of the biggest things you do, but now you understand as well a little bit of what the purpose is behind both the phone number and the email. Once again, please do add them both. And again, the client is going to receive a text message and potentially email to go get logged in. Keep in mind that that's not mandatory to go through that link. Once the invite's been sent, you can just make sure they either have the app or log in on the web, and it will work absolutely fine. And of course, you're going to see as soon as you send out the invite in the top, the bottom left corner here under inactive clients, they're going to show up as a pending invite. And then only when they've completed everything and are on their dashboard, they'll be under the active client list. You know, all of that completed. So pretty simple and straightforward. That is how the client invites work. Very seamless. Go try it out. You can always resend invites as well if ever needed. But for now, maybe go invite yourself. See what the process looks like from a first person perspective, and then go get clients on board here. Hope that was helpful. I'll see you in the next video.